If you're Canadian and that you're looking to invest in the largest and most popular sector in the stock market in the entire world, well, in this video, you will find what is the best ETF that you can buy as a Canadian to buy the S&P 500 at the lowest cost possible. But first, for those that wouldn't know what is the S&P 500, it is basically the 504 biggest American companies in terms of valuation. And so companies like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and Tesla are all in this index. In fact, it is the largest and biggest sector in the stock market in the entire world that's worth more than $40 trillion. And it is the best place to invest, knowing the fact that in the past it has returned on average about 10% per year. So now let's take a look at what is my favorite ETF. The fund that I would personally recommend to you is the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF with the ticker VOO. This fund is actually one of the largest in terms of asset under management, and it is also one of the most popular ones. This mainly comes from the fact that this fund has the lowest management fee of all the different ETFs on the market. Indeed, the small fees of only 0.03% represent about $0.03 per year per $1,000 invest in that fund. And since every ETF that tracks the S&P 500 has the same goal to track the 500 biggest American companies, that makes that the asset ponderation is the same for every fund. And so you need to pick the one that has the smallest fee if you want to have the biggest return on the long term. And as you can see, the return on the last 10 years on this ETF has been massive in the past couple of years. However, we can see that this ETF is way more volatile compared to others because of its holdings that are mainly focused in tech. And the technology sector is really well known around the world while being one of the most risky sector, but that gives the biggest reward and biggest return on the long term. However, an important factor that you need to keep in mind is the fact that this ETF is held in US dollars. And so personally, I would hold this ETF into my RRSP account. This is due to the fact that all of these companies come from the US and some of them also pay a dividend to their shareholders. That means that this is considered as a foreign dividend for the Canadian investor. That means that all the different income that comes from this ETF, it could be from a capital gain point of view, but also from the dividends or from interest revenue, will be taxed by the Canadian government. However, in your RRSP, when you're holding any kind of stocks or ETF, you will never be taxed, which means that holding this kind of ETF in it could be a great idea. And you will take advantage of the strong currency which represents the US dollar. However, already some of you come to me and say, hey, but Louis, how could I invest into the S&P 500 in my TFSA or in my unregistered account? Well, in this case, I would go personally with the Vanguard S&P 500 Index ETF, but with the ticker VFV. This ETF is pretty much the same as VOO, so it is not hedged against the currency risk, and the difference is that it is proposed in Canadian dollars. It also has some slightly higher fees of 0.08%, representing about $0.80 per year on $1,000 invest. But looking at the main holdings of this ETF, you can clearly see that it's the exact same as VOO. And as I told you, this ETF is not hedged against the currency risk, which means that you will still be linked to the US dollar, but the ETF will be proposed to you in Canadian dollars. That's the main difference. And personally, I don't believe that it's super necessary to just hedge your ETF in that case, because the currency, which is the local currency of the companies and of the holdings, is the US dollar, which is a strong currency. So you won't have some big fluctuation on the currency. And the big pro to hold this ETF in your TFSA would be that if you decide to sell it, you won't be taxed on any kind of capital gain. This is due to the fact that this is a Canadian ETF in Canadian dollars, and the Canadian government will never tax you in your Canadian investment in your TFSA. However, you will always be taxed in the distribution that will be made from the ETF, since it is some American holdings. But why would you not invest in that particular sector of the market if it is the most successful sector to invest in?
Yeah, baby!
To summarize, if you're a Canadian looking to invest in the S&P 500, I would be looking to invest in VOO in my RRSP, and in VFV for my TFSA and all the different other accounts. But if you don't know what are the main differences between the TFSA and the RRSP, check out the video that's going to be right over here that explain it pretty well. And guys, let me know in the comment section what is your favorite S&P 500 index ETF. And if you're interested by personal finance and investing, make sure to join the Know family by subscribing to the channel for only $0.0, and I will see you soon. Peace!